The following is a non-profit horror story narration. The story narrated with full permission and cooperation is written and owned by the author, who is credited in the subject line and in the description down below, along with a link to the original story. This video may contain some material such as violence, creepiness, jump scares, adult language, and suggested content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Please support the official release, and viewer discretion is advised. I continued to binge drink copious amounts of vodka and beer in the comforts of my own home. I mean, why wouldn't I? I went to see a girl who I've been talking to for the past couple of weeks, only to turn up and be a victim of some disgusting prank. Then when I returned back home, it was almost like I imagined everything. Any evidence that that bloody prank took place was gone. Everything! The address Lucy gave me in her text messages turned out to be different. And her apartment was actually completely inhabitable. It was almost like I was the first person to visit the apartment complex in years. I thought I was going insane, and to me, alcohol just seemed to be a good coping method. And to make matters even more dreadful was the fact that Lucy not only blocked my phone number, but also my Facebook account. I read about a method on the internet where if a person hid their caller ID, then they can in fact phone the person who blocked them. After finally getting through to Lucy, I was firstly surprised that it worked, and secondly, I was surprised she didn't hang up on me. Her voice was gentle and sweet. She agreed to meet me in a coffee shop so I could explain my side of the story. Lucy looked nothing like her Facebook photos. Who was sat in front of me was a fairly large woman, and on her round but pretty face, she was donning some brown glasses. Her hair was also noticeably different. She had long brown and curly hair that fell past her shoulders. She looked nothing like the supermodel who I had been conversing with for the past 2 weeks. You look nothing like your photos, I protested. Lucy's eyes whitened.
Excuse me?
Then her cheeks flushed red.
You're the one to talk. Look at the state of you. You have dark circles under your eyes, you look pale, and you even have facial hair. Have you even had a wash recently?
I didn't see why she had to be so personal. I thought my complaint was completely valid. She was a practically different person in our photos. I don't like being lied to, I said.
You're incredible. Not even a nice to meet you, just straight to being a complete dickhead.
Alright, I'm sorry. Nice to finally meet you, Lucy.
Likewise. Now what did you want to talk about?
She asked as she gripped her cup of cappuccino. I spoke in depth about my side of the story, making sure to tell her every single detail. At the end of my story, I explained that was the reason I was so rude to her the other day. I was so absorbed in my own storytelling that I didn't even give her a chance to butt in the conversation. Her face didn't portray anything that could indicate she believed me. She just looked frustrated.
You're either completely nuts, or that was some bullshit attempt to get on my good side again.
No, you have it all wrong, I started.
Right. I'm going to the toilet. Be right back.
Lucy stood up and I observed how large she actually was. Then she strolled to the women's restroom. As I sat down, I noticed that everybody in the coffee shop was observing me curiously. I got my phone out and checked to see if Lucy had unblocked me on Facebook. Then my jaw dropped. Lucy's Facebook photos had completely changed. Gone were the pictures of the supermodel look-alike, and now they were replaced with the Lucy I had just been talking to for the past 10 minutes. What the hell is going on? This was just as bizarre as her text message changing. Instantly, I believed the worst. This Lucy is also an imposter, and she's plotting something with that other Lucy and Tony guy I met earlier. That had to be it. I have to get out of here as soon as possible, I decided. I immediately stood up, walking around suspiciously, and waltzed out of the coffee shop as quickly as possible. It was dark and chilly outside. Thick fog was surrounding the vicinity. Why did I agree to meet her at nighttime? Why not in the daytime? I cursed myself for being so stupid, and I swear, I've never seen my legs move so fast. I was virtually running. I was walking that quickly. It took me about 30 minutes to get to the alleyway that leads to the street. As I walked through it, starting to breathe easier, my phone vibrated. I took my phone out of my pocket and checked who it was from, and saw it was Lucy. No doubt she was going to complain I left her while she was using the toilet.
Cheers for that! I've just got back home. What the fuck, Michael? Why did you leave me? I had to pay the bill!
Fuck, I thought. That was really rude of me. I awkwardly placed the phone back in my right pocket. I planned to send her a message later, just to apologize. Then I thought, why should I? There was something very weird going on, and I honestly believed she was somewhat behind it. Then I sensed something behind me, which resulted in me pivoting around. The other Lucy was on her knees, with a demonic grin on her face. And what stood behind her was that towering Tony, who also had an ominous grin on his face. In his right hand was a butcher's knife. I stared at them both, stuttering so much that I was unable to get my words out. Then Tony directed the knife he was holding, placing the tip on Lucy's slender neck. "No!" I yelled. As Tony sliced Lucy's neck, blood began to pour out, in which it dripped onto her breast and onto the ground. Yet Lucy's face didn't change. She still had that same grin on her face as she was dying. Needless to say, I got the fuck out of there. I gave a pathetic shrill as I ran, absurdly flailing my arms. When I got to the front door of my house, I searched for my keys. However, my hands were shaking, and I struggled to place the key into the lock. When I looked behind, two shadows were approaching me from the alley. "Shit!" I swore. I struggled again and again, but finally managed to get the key into the lock, and I twisted it. Then I charged inside, making sure to slam the door. Locking the door was easier than unlocking it. All I had to do was turn the little lock on my door. I began to breathe slower, though I knew that was probably not the end of it. I must phone the police, I thought. No. What if I really was crazy, and I imagined everything that I might have done the other day in 33 Snooker Street? I have to check, I thought. I grabbed the only thing I could use as a weapon, my flashlight. It was a big, cumbersome object that could do a lot of damage if aimed at the right place. Besides, I needed to see if there were actually any bloodstains. When I got to the alleyway, I trembled and aimed the flashlight at the ground, shining the light. Nothing was there. No blood. Nothing. At this point, I seriously started to doubt my own sanity. But then I realized that, even in the most serious of mental health cases, People just don't see imaginary people. Photos and text messages just don't get replaced with different stuff. So what the fuck is going on? Unless I was absurdly wrong and people do actually, in fact, experience those things. I gradually returned back to my house, placing the flashlight back on the shelf I retrieved it from. Then my phone vibrated again. I cursed, wondering who it could be. It was a notification from a news app I downloaded on my phone months back. It was strange, though. The news company had pretty much died after various news reporters were caught spying on celebrities. In fact, I was sure I deleted the app shortly after. I pressed down on the notification and a news article showed up on my screen. Published 10:55, February 23rd, 2010. Drunk driver suspected in death of married couple. I scrolled down and saw an image. I shivered frantically. It was a photo of Tony and Lucy. The pair of them were smiling at the camera, whilst Tony had her in an embrace. The article didn't give many details. However, it explained that the couple had only been married for 1 month, were a lovely couple, and that their families were grieving over the incident. There were no details on the drunk driver, only that the police were investigating. I dropped the phone on the floor where I heard the screen smashed. They were dead. And they've been dead for 7 years now. This was also way too much to be a coincidence. The people in the photograph were exactly the same people I've been encountering. Were they ghosts? But surely ghosts don't really exist. And also, what was the prank? Were they ghosts with a weird sense of humor? Furthermore, why was I led to 33 Snooker Street? I can't think about this right now, I thought. I will have to work this out another time. In all honesty, lots of things were flying through my brain at the moment. There was no chance in hell I was going to work anything out when I was feeling so anxious and stressed out. So I did the only thing I could think of doing at the time. I went to the fridge and took out my vodka.